Okay, let me talk. So, hello everybody. I'm back, and the last video I did was Predators, and this time I'm doing Venom. So, first off, what do I have to say about Venom? Is definitely watch it. Go and pay to watch this movie. Even though the critics, and I don't care about critics at all. Critics don't define a movie for me. Why is that? Because critics always, and I will say always, will give movies a bad rep. It doesn't matter. They will always give a negative review anyways. I don't care what they say. Just like on Rotten Tomatoes, it's like no good. And I'm still wondering why in the world are some YouTubers out there, or some people on YouTube, I don't want to say YouTubers or vloggers or reviewers, they say the same exact thing. The movie was great and it was enjoyable, but the movie itself, or the actors telling the story, were bad. I definitely, and I will admit, I definitely thought that the movie Venom was going to be boring, but surprisingly, I thought this movie was put out good. Insane. There was everything in this movie. I'm going to admit, everything was in this movie. Every single aspect, every single genre was in this movie. There was drama. There was, what else? There was drama. There was horror. And don't tell me that there was nothing sort of suspenseful. If your parents took you to the theaters, if you're a kid, if you're, I don't know, at a young age, whatever, you go and you expect this to be a Spider-Man movie. No. I don't expect it to be a Spider-Man movie. I don't expect it to be a Batman movie. I did not expect this to be, I expected this movie to be more like of a Spider-Man genre, or more of a action movie, like just an action movie. I didn't really expect it to go that route where they did horror. So what I'm trying to say is that I expected this movie to be a Spider-Man. I expected this movie to be another sort of Avengers movie where you just fight, just normal fighting, and I expected this movie to definitely be in the route. I expected this movie to just be plain normal, boring, just the same old. I thought this movie was just supposed to be another Black Panther, another, I don't know, just anything. I expected it just to be whatever. But to my surprise, to my knowledge, to what I saw, it was insanely good. It was enjoyable. Would I even want to buy this on 4K or on iTunes? Of course, I would definitely love to buy it on iTunes or in 4K to have it here and watch it at home. I would definitely buy it. There's movies, and I will admit, there are movies that you watch one time and they're boring, that you don't want to buy it. There's movies that are great and you still don't want to buy it because for some reason it's just the same thing. It's just like you already saw it, so what's the point of it? You already know the movie. It was good, but not insanely good where you're going to watch it over and over and over again. No. Let me be honestly clear about me when I'm watching a movie. because Venom is one of these movies that I would definitely buy and rewatch over and over again. And that is what I've kind of felt with Spider-Man, with Peter Parker's Spider-Man, with Tobey Maguire. I don't care if you say these movies were horrible. I liked that Tobey Maguire kind of he kind of had comedy, because you had J.K. Simmons. Everybody knows J.K. Simmons is insane. He's insane. But for me, I kind of, and I will still say it to this day, I kind of felt I felt disappointed with Andrew Garfield. I wasn't, because I was still stuck in the Sam Raimi, Tobey Maguire era of movies. That's why I didn't like Andrew Garfield at all. Never. And I didn't. And I wanted to see. I just definitely wanted to see another Spider-Man, just to see what would happen to Gwen Stacy. But that's not the point. The point is that I'm just trying to say that there are movies out there that I definitely want to watch over and over again. Like, I definitely would watch Spider-Man again. I would definitely watch. There are definite movies that I would watch again and again, and there's some movies where I'm just like, I watched it one time, and I loved it, but I don't want to watch it again because it's too long of a movie. So Venom is one movie that, if you're a kid, get ready to be scared, kind of frightened. And there was a lot of comedy in it too. There was a lot. And these reviewers, these critics love to put these movies down. Like Venom. I definitely have to say Venom was great. But these reviewers said Venom was no good. Rotten Tomatoes also has like, I don't know what it has now, but when I saw it, it had like 28% of good, and the rest was no good. But you know Rotten Tomatoes. You know Rotten Tomatoes already. Rotten Tomatoes are biased towards movies, towards many iterations of movies and many genres. They give even boring movies a good rating. I've seen movies on there that have a good rating, and when I watch them, I'm like, boring. I'm like, oh, this has 100% rating. No, not really 100%. That's just a lie. I mean, they have like 80%, 85%, 95%. I think I've seen one that's 95%. It's like, whoa, you gave that movie a good rating? How? It's boring to me. But the reason that I buy movies is because there are movies that are great, that are rewatchable. Like Venom, I would definitely go get this in 4K. Bring it home, watch it again. Insanely good movie. It's insane. I'm not denying anything. I love this movie. But the only problem that I did have with the movie, only one suggestion for the person that made this movie. I would say the only bad part about this movie is definitely the fighting scenes. I mean, not technically the fighting scenes, just the scene where Venom fights Riot. I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand why they had that scene. Those scenes were boring. Those scenes, I mean, not technically boring per se. I would say they were more of a rushed. That part was rushed. Let me be honestly clear on what movie. I mean, what parts I felt were more rushed or kind of boring. Okay, so the scenes that I found were boring. I mean, not boring, but technically rushed, or to me seemed very, very rushed, just to get money out of. I mean, just to get the movie to go to its to it. I mean, to go on pace, just to try to rush it and get to the scenes that you need to get to, because in the movie, I would say they have to somehow rush these scenes, because you cannot have a movie be 4 hours long. When have you seen a movie be 4 hours long? Where have you seen a movie be 6 hours long, 8 hours long? But definitely, I've seen movies that have been, I think, the most like 3 hours long, and that is already pushing it. But I've never seen movies that were very long though. I think the only one that was like the longest movie I've ever seen was Titanic, but that's the only movie I think was kind of long. But I kind of understand why creators of these movies have to rush these scenes. They have to rush it because there's only so much they could put in a 2-hour movie. They cannot put a whole book. Look, let me be honestly clear. A book is much more. A book is much more. Sometimes is better than a movie, but people don't like to read words because it's just boring reading word after word after word with no pictures, with nothing, just word after word like a novel. And comic books are good. Comic books are good. But would I say I didn't like this movie? No. I just felt that the parts that were rushed was this is what I think were rushed. The parts that were rushed. The rushed parts was when the symbiote escaped. The symbiote got into one of the ladies. I mean, one of the paramedics in Asia. Then after that, the other one that felt also rushed was that after that symbiote, the same symbiote that was in the paramedic, got into, I think it got into an old lady. And then from there, we don't get to see how that symbiote gets to a little girl. I don't get how that happened. But then, I still don't get what happened to the old lady, to grandma. So, that is my part that was rushed. And then the other part was rushed was when the same scene. I mean, the same kind of scenes was the little girl got the symbiote somehow. I don't know. Who knows how she got the symbiote into her body. Then she traveled from supposedly Asia to the United States. How? I have no clue. How she got to San Francisco? There's no explanation on how the symbiote walked all the way to the laboratory where they were experimenting with these people. I don't get it. I don't get how the symbiote Riot got to be with the other symbiotes. I don't get it. I really don't get it. what I don't get about this either is that we know that that dude that was technically testing homeless people or poor people to try the symbiote was weird. I don't get how they made him be the villain. He was already the villain, but I wouldn't have thought that the symbiote had to come from Asia to attack the dude that was experimenting. I don't even know his name. They were just experimenting, and they got him. I don't get it. That is so strange to me. How they got that? But that's just me. So this movie still got a solid A minus, I would say. Why? Because I'm just not understanding how. I'm just not understanding why they would bring symbiotes from Asia to attack in the United States, in San Francisco. Come on. I would have thought that one of the symbiotes would have got to that dude in his own laboratory. And I kind of didn't like that either, that Eddie Brock got this, how he got the symbiote either, but it chose him, so that's weird. So I would say that's my thought on the movie. And that's my thoughts on why I didn't like the movie. I mean the scenes on why I didn't. I have to say that those scenes that I just mentioned were no good. They should have just fixed those, and the movie still would have done great. It had funny scenes, it had scary scenes, it had all kinds of stuff in this movie that was great, positive. I'm still going to say I don't get why critics decided to trash this movie. Don't get it. And even the reviewers that watched this movie said, I enjoyed it, I loved it, but still have to say it sucked. What in the world are you? What are you expecting from this movie? There's so much that they can put in it, and I guess that's about it, because basically I gave you all the stuff I felt were good and bad about this movie. So thank you guys for watching, and I guess I'll catch you guys on the next one.